Hi guys, welcome to how to do a handstand. We're going to start from the bottom and we're going to work our way all the way up. Fingers. So often yoga teachers say to spread your hands out really wide. And the intention behind this is to give you a greater surface area on which you're going to be interacting with the floor. But actually what we lack in handstand is not side to side balance, but rather front to back. Now, when you spread your fingers out really wide, you actually diminish the amount of front to back control that you have. So it's actually better if you keep your fingers a little bit closer together. Keeping your hands flat will also not give you the same level of sensitivity that you need to find balance. Instead, we want to ground down through our knuckles and pull back on our fingertips. Next is to make sure that your hands aren't too wide apart, because often in downward dog, we think of our hands as being shoulder distance apart, but usually your shoulders will line up to your thumbs, which means where you're going to be weight bearing in the palm is actually a little bit wider than your shoulders. If you're truly shoulder distance apart, you'll actually notice that your thumbs are a lot closer together. Also, make sure you're doing external rotation on the shoulders, and that works more effectively if you have something in your upper limb called torque. And this is where the knuckle of the index finger will ground down while the upper arm will externally rotate. That's a bit like this scarf. If it's like this, it's strong, but it's a lot stronger if I get my hands to twist in two opposite directions. You knew it was coming. Then you need to find the lower portion of your serratus anterior. What that's going to do is it's going to pull the inferior portion of your scapula out towards the side, and it's going to keep your scapula on your rib cage. What we want to try and avoid is the scapula lifting up and winging, and this lower portion of your serratus, as it pulls and it starts to contract, it gets the scapula to glide into a really stable, strong position. This means that as you elevate the arms, so should the shoulder blades, because that will help that inferior portion of your serratus to fire adequately. Also, handstand is of course a push. It means you have to use your push muscles, and that will of course mean that the scapula will elevate as you do your handstand. We also have to take care of our posture, because what we ultimately want to try and achieve is a sandwich of energy. And by that I mean the body works most effectively when you have two opposing forces working simultaneously. In this instance, we want the ribs to pull in and down and the glutes to squeeze forward. This sandwich of energy helps to create a lot of stability around some of the biggest stability muscles, and also probably some of the most underused in our bodies. And finally, we want to make sure that our legs are squeezing together, because if your legs are soggy and they're starting to flail about, this is going to have a huge impact on your balance. I would be lying if I said that handstand was an easy skill, that all you needed to do was put those pieces of the puzzle together and voila! Actually, handstand takes a lot of practice, and even someone like me that's been practicing it for a long time, I still struggle to find balance.
I've been practicing handstands for so long, and I still can't do one.
But because it's a fun skill, I do keep going with it. But of course, remember, we also have life to live, and not necessarily just focusing on one skill like a handstand. For anyone who would like to learn how to do handstand, then remember you can join me for my live classes this Saturday at 12 o'clock British Summer Time.